This video covers a couple of short evening sessions fishing at Aberaeron over high water. I've come here in the hope of catching a bull huss and the possibility of a small-eyed ray. But since this is my first time at this venue, and indeed my first time sea fishing in Wales, I'll be happy with anything at all. My only previous knowledge of the venue is that the south beach is supposed to be less snaggy than the north. I've only got squid and fish baits with me, so I'm not targeting anything small. I've set up on the shingle since the tide's coming in quite rapidly and about to hit that part of the beach. Weather conditions are good, it's overcast and there's not much in the way of wind. I think I'm casting onto clean ground, but I haven't managed to look at it at low tide. So I've just set up at a random location on the beach and there's no one else fishing. My rigs have already been out for about 20 minutes and I'm only going to be fishing until dusk. The temperature's already started to drop, so I'll wind in and check my baits after I've put on my jacket. Okay, so the ground's not as clean as I thought it would be. However, that might be a good sign. I think you're more likely to find bull huss where there's mixed or rough ground. As long as my rigs come back with the lead, I'm quite happy to carry on. And that seems to be the case here, so I'm not thinking about moving or switching over to a rod and bottom setup. As I'm winding in, I'll run through locational details, first with regional setting. For those not familiar with Welsh coastline, I've divided it here into its regional sections, and I'll then zoom in onto Cardigan Bay. It's the largest bay in Wales, officially running from Strumble Head in the south to Bardsey Island in the north. Here I've identified some key fishing locations, but I've excluded the Pembrokeshire part and the Clyn Peninsula. Zooming into the Aberaeron area, here are some of the locations nearby. I intend to cover all of these at some point and place them in the Cardigan Bay playlist. My previous video covered Llanrhysted, and the next one from this area will look at Borth. The mouth of River Arun provides a harbour and divides the north beach from the south. Zooming in, you can see the settlements on the main coastal road, the A487. To get to where I'm fishing, you come off the main road, turning off to Wellington Street and heading towards the yacht club. And there's a convenient free car park with toilet facilities opposite. I've noticed that there's some snags in the area, but by casting around, I'm hoping that I should be able to avoid these. There also appears to be crabs about, since my whole squid bait seems to have been stripped off. This is an up and over rig which I've now rebaited. Time to pull in the other rod. Once again I'm getting snagged up, but I managed to pull through. I'm thinking I might be casting near some boulders with some weed on it, and at some point I'm going to have to come and look at this area at low tide. rig comes back intact, and it's only the bait on the bottom hook that's gone. This is a 2-hook long snood clip down rig. I'll rebait, then we'll have a look at the setup, but first a pan view of the area. There's plenty of room on the beach, and I think I should have walked closer to the headland, although I was thinking it's more likely to be rocky there. There's sand in front of me, but also patches of boulders, which I'm assuming continue out much further. I've set up a fairly short distance from the car park, below the last building. My continental rods are powerful enough for mixed ground, so they're a good choice, and I'm using 30-pound braid. The rig on the left is squid bait, the one on the right's got sand eel with squid on the bottom and bluey and squid on the top. Short pulley rigs would have perhaps been a good alternative. No complicated casts for me. A simple overhead thump gets the distance I want with these rods. I'm not really sure I needed leads with wires, since there doesn't seem to be anything in the way of tidal pull. I get my first indication, a knock on the right hand rod. It's a bit of a wait, since I'm trying to see if those knocks are going to develop into something stronger. I then get a slightly better tap, which I consider worth hitting. I think I've got something on, but it feels like it's in a snag. Pull the rig out of a snag and feel like the fish is still on. There's weed attached to the bottom hook, but it's something I wasn't expecting on the top one. That's my personal best rockling, huge by my standards. It's got a big fat belly, and I've noticed it's not the same species that I normally catch on the south coast. This one's just got 3 barbules, whereas the ones I normally catch have got 5. However, it's got the same sort of colouring, and it's still a slug to me, and as slippery as a bar of soap. Nevertheless, I'm still happy to have caught it. Here's the mug shot before it slips from my hands. The rockling took a blue-in squid cocktail on my top hook. As you can see, I'll be letting my bottom snud slide down. So this rig performs as a one up, one down rig, with the sand eel being on the bottom snud. My first bite came as the sea just started hitting the shingle part of the beach, so I'm hopeful now for some more bites. It didn't take long after recasting to get a bite on the whole squid. I felt the fish on, but immediately snagged me, and unfortunately looks like I pulled out. And I spot another bite on a 2-hook rig. I don't think I'm going to lose this one. Unfortunately, it's not a bull huss, but just an ordinary dogfish. It's now the top of the tide, and I get another fish on. Unfortunately, it's the second one to come off, and that's it for tonight. I only managed to land 2 fish, but I was quite pleased with that, since it was a very short session, and it's the first time I've seen this beach. I came back to fish the same spot at high water the following day. The sea had already reached the shingle before I'd arrived. It had been a very bright day, but I was still hopeful to catch something. I managed to buy some ragworm during the day, and since I'd lost my 2-hook rig the day before, I decided to fish the 3-snud loop rig that I did at Llanrwsted. However, the rig I'm just about to cast out is a panel pulley rig. I was hoping to get a bite straight away, but it didn't materialise. It was a bit of a wait until I did get my first bite, but unfortunately I had a camera malfunction, so I haven't got any footage of me striking and playing the fish, but as you can see it was nothing exciting, just another dogfish. Here's a look at the two rigs I've been using for this session. And here's a close-up of a sand eel and squid cocktails. I fished until sunset, and it wasn't the most exciting session I've had. However, I didn't blank. I only caught that one dogfish, but I did lose another fish, and I did miss another bite. Despite fishing the same spot, I seemed to have avoided the snags this time, but I did lose one of my rigs through miscasting. At least I found out that there are fish to be caught here, and perhaps I'll come back again and fish closer to that headland, and maybe even over low water. The session was still worth it, just for the sunset.